Meeting for 2019. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Martha Casabon, Pug Lauren, Todd Richard, Bernie Willie, Barry Baggert, Jimmy Davis,
Here.
Patrick Fitzmaurice, Dave Doherty, Kirk Drum, Ron Randolph. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you don't like the decisions of this commission, you can always appeal with the council. We have appeal cards up in the front, as well as we have speaker cards as well in case you want to speak about a certain case tonight. Each side will have public speaking of 10 minutes and a rebuttal time of 5 minutes. Once your case is over, if you need to discuss it further, please exit the building because the sound might affect the rest of the cases. Please stand for the invocation by Commissioner Randolph and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Father, once again, we come to you to say thank you for all the blessings you bestowed on our lives. From time past throughout this day, you exemplified and you exhibited your grace and mercy upon each and every one of us. We thank you for, and we ask that you continue to bless our families, bless our parish, bless everyone that's on this commission. Be with us and allow us to make the right decisions for all. And we ask that special blessing upon all the employees of the parish government and all of our citizens as well. Lord, we ask that you continue to be with us throughout this Lent season and be with us and bless us. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, the chair will take any comments about the minutes of last month's meeting. Do I have an approval or comments or changes? Commissioner Doherty.
I got it, no. I have a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Doherty. Commissioner Lauren.
Mr. Chairman, I second it.
I have a second by Commissioner Lauren. A little bit more discussion on that. While reading the minutes, I noticed a couple of cases. Case number 8. Three and 7 just don't have the typing where it says who voted yea, nay, and abstain. If you could just update that for us. And with that being said, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Doherty and a second by Commissioner Lauren with a small text change. Please vote. Please vote.
That's what's going to take up the time of the meeting.
Mr. Doherty?
Mr. Doherty?
I voted.
Okay.
You vote?
It's still not working.
Do you click it once or twice?
You click it, try it again.
That's 3 times.
It goes backwards.
Okay, yeah, now it's showing it. I think you just have to click it once.
All right.
Okay.
That's good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Staff, are there any postponement of cases? Ms. Helen?
No.
No postponement of cases, okay. Under public hearings, it looks like we have 3 cases tonight. The chair decides to go ahead and, I'm gonna move up the last case, case 3, 2019-1355ZC. The existing zoning is A4 single family. The proposed zoning is the same A4 with just a manufactured housing overlay. The acreage is 15,000 square foot. The petitioner is Janet Ford Payne. The owner is Clarence Payne and Dennis Payne. The location of this parcel is on the west side of Violet Street, north of Progress Street being lots 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, and 38. Square 1, West Abita Springs subdivision being 72495 Violet Street, Covington, Section 36, Township 6 South, Range 11 East, Ward 10, District 6, Council District 6. Staff?
Staff doesn't have any objection and would like to recommend approval.
Okay. Is the person representing this case here? Please, ma'am, come on up and state your name and address and tell us what you intend on doing.
Janet Ford Payne. Yeah, we intend to tear the house down and put a trailer up there because the house is falling in on us, and we can get a trailer but not get a house built, so we want to put a trailer there.
Okay, and that's the existing house that's there now?
Yes.
You're just not putting another mobile home on the right side of it, right? You're just
Right.
gonna actually, okay, all right. Is there anybody in the audience would want to speak in favor of this overlay or against this overlay? If not, I'll bring it back to the commissioners. Commissioner Baggett. I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Baggett. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second?
I have a second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any more discussion? If not, please vote.
This case is approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can't see. There you go, right there. There's everybody's vote up there. Everybody voted yes. Okay. Case number 1, 2019-1343 ZZ, existing zoning is neighborhood commercial 4, proposed zoning is I1 industrial, acreage is 32,338 square feet. The petitioner is John D. Moores, the owner is Ann P. Moores. Location is on the north side of LA Highway 36, east of Manor Street, west of Plantation Street, being lots A and B, Square 2, Robindale subdivision, Section 35, Township 6 South, Range 11 East, Ward 3, District 2, and the council district is 2. Staff comments?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the site to be developed with commercial uses. Although the Highway 36 corridor is developed with a variety of commercial, industrial, and residential uses, staff feel that there's no compelling reason to recommend approval of the request, considering that the site is abutting residential uses on the north side and some undeveloped land and vacant land, zone NC4, on the east and west sides. At this time, staff would like to recommend denial.
Okay. Is the petitioner here to discuss this case? Please come up and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm John Moores. My wife Ann owns this property, and it's across from the Gaylord kind of staging area where they dump dirt and old trees and everything else. And we've been trying to do something with this for over 20 years and have a possibility if we can change the zoning, as it used to be C2 back in 2006, and then the parish, I guess, changed it to NC4 when they had the major zoning change. I say this has always been commercial. Across the street is pretty much a dump. The property to the east is the same kind of situation as this. Next to that is an old auto parts repair place with junk around, et cetera, et cetera. So what we plan to do here is, if we can get approval, is possibly build it's a nice building, metal building for a RV storage place. Back in the subdivision behind this, there are several trailers, RVs, old trailers that people live in along there. So that's kind of our plan.
Okay. Well, thank you. Is there anybody in the audience want to speak in favor of this zoning request change? Anybody want to speak against it? If not, I'll bring it back to the commission for discussion. Commissioner Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And looking at the zoning classifications around this property, I don't see a problem with changing this, recommending a change to I-1. So I'll make a motion to not concur with the staff and approve the zoning to I-1.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Darty to approve as I-1. Commissioner Willie.
Yes, that across the street, that I-2 has been in business a very, very, very long time, and I second the motion to Mr. Doherty.
I have a second by Commissioner Willie. Commissioner Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree that this corridor is a commercial corridor, should be commercial. It's, I wish it would have been developed a little differently than it has been developed. That being said, it's zoned neighborhood commercial it was zoned C2 before. I get that, it should be commercial. I'm a little concerned about the industrial designation. While I agree across the street is an industrial yard, I think it's a staging plant for paper products, trees, et cetera, but it backs up against the trace, if I recall correctly, seeing it from that side. I'm a little concerned about having industrial backing up against a neighborhood, and obviously a lot of time was spent in the comprehensive rezoning process. Our council and our constituents certainly, put forth that this should be NC4. So I'm going to actually be voting to support the staff's recommendation, and I'll be voting to deny it. But I understand the motion on the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more comments from the commission? If not, I'm also going to be voting against this as well. With that being said, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Darty and a second by Commissioner Willie. Please vote.
Y'all are voting for? Okay.
Motion was to approve.
The motion.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. 1, 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the motion to approve?
So it is not passed to approve.
Okay, and and I should have made the motion to, wait. Oh, I did say correct. Okay, I did say nay. Okay, all right, thank you. Of course, you can appeal it with the council. And there's appeal cards up in the front. Case number 2. 2019-1353 existing zoning is A2, suburban. Proposed zoning is highway commercial 2. It's 2 acres. The petitioner and owner is Scott Chasson, Sr. Location is parcel located on the south side of LA Highway 22, east of Mitcham Street, west of Indian Trace Boulevard, Section 18, Township 7 South, Range 10 East, Ward 1, District 4, Council District 4. Staff's comments?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses. Staff does not see any compelling reason to recommend approval, considering that the site is surrounded by residential uses and undeveloped land on the south, east, and west sides. At this time, staff would like to recommend denial of the requested zoning change to HC2.
Okay. Is the petitioner here? Yes. Please come up and state your name and address, please, and the reason for the zoning request change.
Scott Chesson, 1017 Cialona Road, Madisonville. I've made the request for change to this parcel because I intend to, my intent with it is to open a service center there, oil change center. There's a lot of development taking place in that area and really no services of those kinds available. The land was purchased recently. I purchased it and it's adjacent to land I already own. So the empty parcel of land to the west is land that I own. And the property is over 500 foot in depth, and it backs up into some trees. And I also own property to the back of it as well. Across the street is already zoned commercial. So it just leaves the parcels to the east side, which are up for purchase as well. They're up for sale. And there may be a movement on my part to purchase the adjacent piece next to me. So all of the surrounding property that is residential, with the exception of one piece, I own already, and would maybe possibly own the next 2 acres over, depending on how the zoning decision goes here today.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do intend to use the land, not just to change the zoning and then sit on the land. There are some parcels in the area that are already zoned commercial that no one is developing. If I do get this zoning change, I intend to put a service center on there, an oil change center, basically like a Speedy Lube type center
Okay.
on the property.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody in the audience who want to speak in favor of this zoning request change or against this zoning request change? If not, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Mr. Chasson, so I live in Indian Trace, just, I don't know how far it is, not far, maybe a city block. The property to the east, that's the farm? Where they have the horses on there?
Yes, sir.
And I guess the farmhouse is a little bit further down to the east?
Please come up to the podium.
Yeah, if you don't come to.
Thank you.
Is that who you purchased property? That's who you purchased it from?
That's correct. Donald Peters, he owns the horses there, and approximately half that field is mine now.
Okay. I know the field, I drive past it every day.
Yes, sir.
And across the street, that's commercial, isn't it?
It is commercial already.
The two corners of Catherine?
It's commercial, and I think it's been for sale for about 10 years now, at least as far as, that's when I started seeing it for sale, when I moved there.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Lauren.
Yes, sir. I have a question. On the kind of Google Earth map drawing that we have with the, how far in depth would the place of business be?
Sir, I'm thinking about, I haven't laid the plot completely out, but my intent was about 100 feet from the highway to give room for development of the highway in the future. And, of course, I want people to be able to see the business visible from the highway. So it would leave approximately 400 feet of distance behind the building, roughly, to the property line.
Well, the reason I ask is it looks like there are residential houses behind it.
Yes, sir. One of those is mine.
Okay.
I live behind it.
I just don't like to see businesses, you know, somebody wake up one morning and there's a place of business right across the fence from them.
Yes, sir, I understand. And, of course, I live there, and I've made an investment in the land, the property there. Certainly not looking to do anything to compromise my own home and my own living circumstances. The fact of the matter is, right across the street is already zoned to this level, and they could put the same service center in. It would just be oriented in the opposite direction, but it would only be, 100 feet further to the north, and it could already be done.
The problem we have is once we rezone, a lot of times business plans don't work out. And it may wind up that you sell it to someone else. It happens. It happens very frequently.
Mhm.
And once it's rezoned, we can't unrezone it. Okay? So that's why I'm just trying to make sure that we don't do anything that would be detrimental to you.
Yes, sir. This is not something that I've gone into without thought. In fact, I actually contacted my councilman before I purchased the land to get an understanding of whether or not this may be feasible, or I wouldn't have made the investment to purchase the land up front. And I do have the resources to develop the land. I do have it. So it's not something that I'm going to be getting the zoning changed and then working at some point in the future to be able to develop it. I could develop it now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Darty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chasson, he's asking for HC2, and the surrounding commercial is HC1. If this were to be HC1, could he put the oil change center in an HC1?
No, it's considered as a mechanic shop, so it has to have an HC2.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Willie.
Scott.
Yes, sir.
What's the dimension of the west side of that property? How deep does it go? You mentioned 100 foot from the highway, and then you mentioned 400 feet for your business. How long is the property?
The property angles in the back, and I think the furthest dimension from the road is 500 feet, and I think that narrows back to about 450 feet. Because the property in the back is not squared. It actually follows that,
How much land is needed for that business? I guess what I'm asking. The 100 feet, and then how much more?
probably another 100 foot, 200, approximately half of it with the parking that would be required.
Because my concern is, again, a buffer between the residential section on the south side.
Yes, sir.
To the possibly, the commercial property. So if we could leave a buffer of some sort, or just change the zoning to 400 feet or something like that.
I have no problem with that.
No problem with that. That would,
yes, sir.
I would like to entertain that if you would, so.
Okay, would that require me to repetition, or could we make this?
You can amend it, I think, here tonight.
Okay.
We
Before-
don't have a second for the approval of Mr. Fitzmaurice. So if you want to go ahead and amend your request, we can do that. But you would have to do that.
So what the remaining property would remain, whatever the zoning is now, the A2, that southern tip would remain A2.
Yes, sir, I'm just wanting to make
You
sure
wanna
that
Make sure you have enough room for your property and your project.
Right, that's what I need to make sure. I haven't looked at it from that standpoint, so.
This is what it would do, is that this is the parcel A1,
This is 456 feet,
so you would go 400 feet deep.
400 feet deep. Yeah, absolutely, that's not a problem.
Be north of the tree line a little bit, I think.
Oh, yes, sir. And I could do the 400 feet deep on the western property line and then square it to the back, where the east side would also be 400 feet, and then the remainder of it it's almost in timber anyway, that piece.
I don't want to hinder where your project's not, able to fit on there, so that's why I was,
Yes, sir, that would allow plenty.
okay. If you would like to amend that.
I would like to
appreciate
amend it.
Just verbally states amending zoning change request to a 400-foot depth.
Amending zoning change request to a 400-foot depth squared.
So you're requesting 400-foot depth for HC2,
Yes.
and after that,
Just leave it as it is.
just.
Leave it as-
So leave it A2 after that.
Right.
Yes.
That's the motion?
He had the
Well, no, his
But that
motion
was-
fails
Okay,
because it
I
wasn't
move-
seconded. So you're
that's a
making a
motion.
motion.
You're right.
You're making a motion to amend 2019-1353 ZC to the first 400-foot to Highway Commercial 2 with the remaining square footage, leave it as A2. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You have a second?
Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I'll second,
Oh.
and I have a comment for, Pug, just to let you know, what you can't see in here, to the eastern side, just outside the frame is a farmhouse. And then on the eastern side of that is a 5-acre commercial site. So what's happened on 22, and it'd be nice if Mr. Chasson gets this through, is that we could have commercial zoning in one section instead of a piece here, and it kind of bounces all around. So you've seen the Dollar General and a certain little, kind of the spot zoning things, but if this becomes a conformed area, which if you buy some more and they're selling that farmland, I think it would be, that's why I'm very much in favor of it, so thank you.
Okay. I still don't have a second on Mr.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I have a second by Commissioner Baggett. Any more discussion?
No, you're back.
Mr. Baggett made the second, correct?
Fitzmaurice did.
Oh, Fitzmaurice, I'm sorry. Mr. Fitzmaurice got me confused. Before we vote on this, I personally think that the staff's recommendation on denial is correct. I think Highway Commercial 2 is a little bit too dense for this area, regardless whether it's 400 feet back or not. With that being said, please vote. This is the motion to vote for a Highway Commercial 2 from 400 foot from the highway, deep, and leave the rest A2.
The motion to approve has passed.
Okay, thank you.
As amended, sorry.
As amended, yes. Commissioners, do we have any old business? Okay, staff, do we have any old business?
No.
Do we have any new business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?